Today was kind of stressful for me. I didn't make a video recap about Friday, and I should have. I took 3 trades on Friday, and every one of them were losers. My setups just didn't work. I stopped out when I needed to. I minimized the loss. I didn't hemorrhage a ton of money, but I also gave back a good portion of last week's gains, and that made me unhappy. So, tried to put that out of my head this weekend. I didn't really look at charts at all. I read a lot. I did some work on my psychological. I did some meditation. And I just basically tried to clear my head out and relax. So today I had a really chaotic morning, not related to trading. Just life was hectic. I didn't get my weekend analysis done on video like I had tried to do so I could watch it this morning. So I didn't get that done. I had an idea in my head that I wrote down, and I was looking for this level here. I was looking for this reject, because this was the top of a Fibonacci. This was this daily reject here to retest it. And it almost made it here. Almost. Then it didn't make it here and turned red, so I actually got in on this candle. I got in, I think it was around 88 or 85 cents. 393.85, I think. It was a little bit slow because I was doing it on my phone, on the toilet at work. And I wanted this to be basically the push line. If we push and hold below this, I was expecting it to come back down and retest pre-market high. On a push through here, it came down through here with some pretty hefty volume down close to 393, and I actually got a trim off right really close to the bottom here. And the fact that it closed back above here in green was a full exit. So that was not a bad scalp. And instead of just being content with the fact that we were going to uptrend now because it had already come back down and retested, failed to make a new low here, and then came back and made a new high. I tried puts again, and I really shouldn't have. And I made the mistake of kind of boredom trading, actually. What I saw was this high here, and came back up to it, pushed through, and then came back down and retested it. And honestly, this right here fit my system as a call entry, because I was watching this and I thought down right about here, it's like, if this doesn't close below this level, this was it 394.70. So if it came down here into this area and didn't close below it or make a strong break down towards it, which based on the volume it didn't compared to this big green candle, I was going to go in on calls, and I slept on the opportunity to enter, and you see that thing ran $1 up, and that would have been a really nice entry. And I could have just followed my push down, close below, and I got stopped out. But it followed the system, and I didn't take that one. So instead, I got puts on here. So this was starting to form a little bit of a bear flag. Mind you, this has been trending up all day. This was trending up all day fairly strong. And I tried to get puts up here where there was no level, just based on a price action formation with no level confluence at all. And by some degree of luck, it came down and it pushed down about 60 cents, and I was right. But I didn't close there because I was, for some reason, anticipating this to be a reversal up here, and there's not a single strong signal on here. There's not on the 5-minute. There's not on the 15-minute. Look at that. There's no strong signal up here. If anything, there's there's a candle here that's saying I'm not going to go any lower. I'm not trying to reverse here, but that's not what I saw. So back to bigger picture, not looking at long enough time frames, especially later on in the day. And I FOMO'd, and like a dumbass, as soon as this one closed up above 395, I got into calls here. It got green for a minute, and then came back down here and I just got stopped out. So between these puts decaying and these calls losing, I gave back this 80-cent move, 70 or 80-cent move that I got here, which is really, really frustrating. The common thing between Friday and today was I was not completely mentally engaged in the market, and I needed to be, especially considering I am now trading so hard on QQQ, which moves very quickly, which is why I like doing it. But I can't be mentally disconnected from the market the way that I was between Friday and today. I have to go back to doing my morning preparation, writing everything down, and the fact that I'm not following anybody who really trades QQQ on a regular basis means I don't have the same biases that I used to have of seeing somebody else's loves and going, I'm going to play these instead because they look better, because they make money and I don't. My levels, you can see here, it works. The trade worked. Break above, reclaim below. The trade worked again. It worked on a initial reject, and it worked on a fake out, little green, engulfing red, and it worked out even better the second time on that retest. But I was not in the game engaged mentally enough to be able to play that, and the entire time I was playing against strength to the upside. So that was a mistake and a failure on my part. Moving on, I don't want to sit and harp on it. Not just because it makes me frustrated that my performance has been that lackluster and that just absent of mindfulness of what the trend looks like. Tomorrow, it is actually, today was a decent, not a ton of volume, but it was enough to push us up over that daily bounce from back in November. This one here, which set the new pivot high off of this big move down all the way here from 342. So this broke above, not with a ton of volume. It's trading above now. It's been trending up a little bit more in the aftermarket. I am going to watch for a little bit of chop up here this week, but really I should still be bullish on this the way that I was last week looking at these candles here from last week. I was still bullish on this, and I tried to play puts today, so fool me once, shame on me. And right here, it's still showing a weekly promise to go pushing upwards. I mean, there was 3 days of green, 3 weeks of green here, increasing volume, never really trying that hard to make it down below a test. I mean, it tested the top of this range from this gap in here a couple weeks ago, but that was about it. I think we're still going to see a little bit more push up to 400. Is the last, I go all the way back here to December of last year's Santa rally. Really, this week here had another sort of a pivot high at 404. This had one at 402, and then there's a whole bunch of 401, 400, 398, 398, 398. this is weekly, so it was just pushing. It broke up above 400 for a couple of weeks and just couldn't maintain it. Came back down, played around underneath that level, broke up tested for a little bit during a week, and then just came sinking right back down. So this month here was the month that I made all that money last year. It was these 3 or 4 weeks here. It was my best month I've ever had day trading. I made $1,200 that month. And I had more winners than losers. I had some really big winners, but I had some $400, $500, and $600 losers. I had almost $1,000 losing day in there. There was some issues. There was some sloppiness, and this was about where the train started to derail for me mentally. Was somewhere during these 5 weeks, because I didn't have a single winning week until price here. These 2 weeks here, I was green both of those weeks. I was just barely red last week, and this week I am just barely red. But the losses are very well controlled. It's just my confidence is still kind of wavering, and I still find myself FOMOing, stressing myself about the dollar amount rather than the percentage amount, instead of just playing the levels, because that seems to be the pattern I've gotten myself into. So I'm still working on that. Need to meditate a little bit more. Need to visualize a little bit more. Visualize my executions. I've been doing that the last couple of weeks, and it's really shown. It's really shown just the last 2 days. My ability to close out and execute when I have to, instead of just panicking and holding for hope and then riding the hopium train all the way down into the dirt and taking 30, 40, 50% losses when I'd only budgeted a 15 to 20% loss at the max. So we're getting there. It's slow and steady. Slow and steady.